you know, for these transplants, for transplants, and it cost a huge sum of money, for which criminally minded persons, you know, some of these criminally minded persons are also, for the sake of it, subscribing to it, to the issue of abducting people because of the money that is involved. So for me, it's a good development, but it goes actually beyond that. Let us see them walk the talk. One, two things one would recommend. It's something that you need to partner with all professionals, especially professional organizations that are involved in Medicare or healthcare. That's number one. Number two, we need to make sure that this document is well publicized. So in addition to whatever organs the Ministry of Health might have, you understand, you also have organizations that, like the National Orientation Agency. You have to reduce this document to something as simple as any Nigerian who picks it can understand.
Yes.
And also explained in the language, using our local languages, our indigenous languages, to explain these things to them. You can do it through flyer, you can do it through interface, you can do it at least as much as possible, you know, outreaches and so on. It's something that we need to take to the churches, we need to take to the mosque, we need to take to everywhere, so that people understand what it is. And I believe that such a policy will also come with the likely penalties, you know, will also project some penalties.
Okay,
but
if I may cut you short there, sir,
yes.
You talked about public awareness.
Yes.
Telling informing individuals to different means.
Yes.
You know, there have been some cases where individuals willingly decide to be donors for this organ transplant, and most of them will know the implications of this when it happens. Let's take, for instance, the kidney. That there was a recent situation that is still pending up till now that happened over this organ transplantation. I'm sure that that particular individual that was, you know, involved in that situation would have been promised of a certain huge amount of money that will be involved for that organ transplant. Individuals that, let's say, federal government comes to tell them these and these are things you're not supposed to, you know, get involved in this, in as much as there's money involved. Do you think individuals who want to adhere to these guidelines that has been unveiled by the federal government?
You know, I started by also telling you that it requires the collaboration and partnership of all those that are involved in the health sector. And I did also remark that the processes, in fact the technicalities, the knowledge, the expertise required for organ transplant is not what me and you have.
Yes.
I said that.
Yes, sir.
So that is why, you know, even for those who are doing it crudely, the attraction has been the commission that they will receive. You know, that's for experts that are involved, tempted to be involved in it. Because you are receiving commission, one, from the person that is here, two, from whoever, you know, medical tourism is what we see today. For every little thing, even things that can be done here by medical doctors. You understand? Recommendations, oh, we are sending it to India, we are sending it to the US, we are sending it to Britain, so that you can have proper medical care, as if we don't have anything again. So it's not supposed to be that. So that is where the challenge is. And that is why the policy, I'm sure they have stated guidelines. If you want to do it, look, you have to register the patients, which will have to be satisfied that this is what is supposed to be done, and that it is being done by a registered, recognized, registered, if it is private, you know, medical facility. If it is government, of course, you know that level of organ transplant and so on, most times is the tertiary, that the teaching hospitals and very specialized health facilities that conduct that. So everybody, all hands must be on deck. We must be more open, more accountable to ourselves. We are talking about lives. Of course, they are also sworn to their oaths I think they call it hypocritic oath or something. They also sworn to it to make sure that they prioritize life and so on. So these are things that they must, anybody that is involved in it must be held to account. But the enlightenment is, in case there are those who by the pretending, having been attracted by the money that is promised and yet they are pretending, it is important for you to know that ignorance of the law ultimately may not avail you. Ignorance of the law does not necessarily mean that you can go scot-free. In fact, having had the knowledge, depending on how they want to create the awareness, having had the knowledge, making it available, through the media, through several partnership with the media is even more effective.
Yes.
Yes, both the conventional media, bloggers, everybody, getting them involved. So you don't have an excuse. Everybody, you are coming, if you are doing an organ transplant, you are doing it with the full knowledge of what the implications are.
Okay, so let me still come back to that question of, let's talk, you talked about the aspects here. I'm talking, I want to refer to the individuals, most of those individuals that are donors. Some of them get promised certain amounts of money or to be paid for donating a particular vital organ from their body to a patient that needs it. These individuals might not want to, get the attention of the regulation that has been set by the federal government. They would want to privatize it or probably hide it, if I can use that word in that instance, because of the particular amount involved, or probably there could be a possibility that they feel they might be denied, because with this guidelines has been set by the federal government, they will also examine that donor to know if this person is fit to donate a particular vital organ from their body. Let's say those individuals decide not to get this regulatory body involved in this. Are there supposed to be repercussions? I mean, are there supposed to be penalties for it, first off? And then they look at the money involved, like I stated, and not want to do that, getting involved in the regulatory body. Do you think that can also come in place? Because we're talking about Nigerians here.
You know that so long as you are a citizen of a country, there's a limit to which you think you own yourself.
Okay.
There's a limit to which you think you own yourself. So the fact that you are a citizen of the country, you can't let me give you an instance. You can't just willingly take your life anyhow.
Yes.
That is why you see people want to commit suicide and they are restrained by all means. And after being restrained, some of them, having been stabilized in terms of checking their psychology, in terms of checking their mental health. After that, if they are found to be fit, they are prosecuted. So there's a limit to which you can, even on your own. In fact, we have not seen wholesale what the policy contains, yes, but I know that such cases will actually be taken care of. Okay. Now, look at NAPTIP. For instance. Some of the parents, in some cases mothers, in some cases in connivance with the parent of the child, that's both parents, and they are being sold. The children are being sold. Yes. You understand? For some, just to have some money, one way, and the government frowns at such things very seriously. Frowns at such things, and such persons, once they are found, they are brought to book. Okay. In fact, once credible intelligence is given to NAPTIP, they swing into action almost immediately. So it is the same way, that you are even hiding the fact from them. Of course, the law while it is meant to arrest every culprit, you can't also be sure that every person, you know, definitely there might be some persons that might escape the net.
Yes.
Yes, that might escape the net.
Thank you so much in this. Well, like you stated, this guidelines is way overdue. This is something we were actually expecting a long time ago or before now. Well, no, probably the issue of organ transplant, illegal, or your word, crude organ transplant has been on for a very long time, and the government has noticed that we cannot sit back and watch this keep going on. Well, it's a welcome development, and like you stated, let's hope that the necessary means of awareness is created so that everyone is involved and not for a particular segregation, a particular set of people. It's supposed to be an every individual involvement in this situation. Thank you so much on this, sir. Thank you on your analysis on this. Moving forward, federal government on Thursday launched the National Electronic Assets Register, a digital platform aimed at tackling and managing government-owned assets across ministries, departments, and agencies. The initiative, spearheaded by the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, is expected to enhance transparency and accountability in public assets management while aligning with global financial reporting standards. Speaking at the launch in Abuja, the Accountant General of the Federation, Mrs. Oluwatoyin Maiden, described the platform as a transformative step towards better financial management. She highlighted that for decades, Nigeria had lacked a consolidated record of its assets, which had created gaps in financial reporting. For the longest time, we have operated without a single balance sheet that truly reflects the financial health of our country. The financial statement of government always ends in negative liability, not because we lack assets, but because they have not been properly documented, she said. Additionally, we will establish an organ donation and transplant register. Well, thank you so much on this. This is another platform that has been created by the federal government on this issue to track government assets, just like the organ transplant services that we just discussed. Please, sir, I'd love to get your thoughts on this quickly, please.
Well, very quickly, it's they said since 2016 this process has been on.
Yes.
Yes, and I want to believe that they are talking about the tangible assets. Because when you want to talk about the assets of a country, talk about the tangible and intangible assets. The intangible assets, you're talking about trademarks, you're talking about patent rights, you're talking about goodwill, and so many other things that are involved. You understand? In fact, reputation itself is an asset. Reputation.
Yes.
Reputational management, in fact, is one of the biggest assets that we have. And I'm wondering, you know, it takes some professional knowledge and competence to make sure that these intangible assets, which are very, very important, discoveries and so on, that those ones too are also part of the asset register. Because I know that there are research institutions in this country that are researching into one thing or the other and have come up with some discoveries. They need to be properly patented, documented, so that we know that they are part of our assets register. Now, why I emphasize that reputation is important? Because the reputation of a country is what actually, intangible as it is, but it's fundamental. The values, that is what the reputation of a country is, what sells the country, you know, and brings people to say that yes, wanting to invest and so on. So, how much does our reputation bring to us as a country? So all this, I think, should actually be looked at. So, while we're talking about the tangible assets, we also have to look at the intangible assets, and looking at it from the point of view of 2016, you know, 2016 forward is it does not really it means that we are going to lose many more. 2016 till now, it's about 4 plus 2016, 2020 is 5 years, and then about 10 years. About okay, 2016, about yes, about 10 years now currently.
Okay.
So what happens to the other assets? Though they said they have them, but not in digital platform. I think we need to make sure that we have everything in digital. Moreover, currently we have innovation and creative ministry.
Okay.
We expect that all these are discoveries by young people, you know, tech. That this government prioritizes tech.
AI,
yes, that all the discoveries thereof, that all of them are also brought into the assets register, so that we have more of the intangible assets. You find them within the private sector. So there has to be also a synergy between whoever is managing, whether it's a commission or whoever is going to manage it. You also need to reach out to the private sector so that we know fully, you know, what assets that we have.
Okay, thank you on this. Well, if I may ask, this you've also commented on this, that it's a welcome development, like the organ transplant initiative that's been created by the federal government. Well, the question would be, is this something that will be regulated? Is this something that will be monitored? Because we know how it is. You said it's not just about talking and not doing. When you talk, you also do. Is this something that will be monitored and make sure that it is properly functional?
Yeah, I believe that it's something that can be made to be functional because of my recommendation about the private sector.
Okay.
You know, getting to know what is naturally. When you leave this kind of thing to government establishments, you know, we have our problem of continuity of government policy in this country. If that particular government serves out its tenure, there might not be continuity.
Yes.
So that's why some of these projects are better done by by the private sector.
Yes.
You know, people that are well seasoned, that have cognitive experience.
But why is it that you're just referring to why a private sector handling it instead of the federal government? Why is there that collapse?
There can be a public-private partnership that could also manage it.
Okay.
There could be a private-public partnership that could also manage it. But given the necessary resources, given the necessary ambience too, you know, the private sector, I believe, will do a bet for continuity's sake and so on. The private sector will be up and doing and making sure that there is a public sector initiative. There's a public sector initiative, but at least as a legacy that the outgoing accountant general, you know, is leaving us with. I also want to encourage the incoming accountant general Gunjimi also, so that he too will take off from there, and all the necessary machineries to make sure that it is sustained, that they are being put in place.
Thank you on this, Mr. Yorongaya Tamuna. Federal High Court in Abuja on Thursday adjourned the alleged money laundering case instituted by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission against the immediate past governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, to Friday for continuation of trial, which is today. When the matter was called on Thursday, counsel for the EFCC, Kemi Pinheiro San, called its witness on subpoena Williams Abimbola. Abimbola, a compliance officer with the United Bank for Africa PLC, confirmed to the court that a further subpoena was served on the bank. Justice Emeka Nwite admitted the subpoena and marked its Exhibit 7, and the subpoena, according to the prosecution, requested for the production of the statement of account of one Marcelina Njoko from 1st January 2019 to 31st December 2020. The witness confirmed that it was the request from the bank and added that a certificate of compliance was also issued. The witness confirmed 10 withdrawals in favor of Abdusalam Hudu in the sum of 10 million naira each on December 12, 2018. She said the withdrawals were done with checks and presented across the counter. The witness, however, confirmed during cross-examination that the former governor's name did not feature in the opening and management of the said government house bank accounts. She also noted that she did not, the account officer of the Kogi government house account did not account was domiciled in Lokoja, Kogi State, and not Area 3, Abuja, where she works. Well, as it stands, the court case still continues. It's a continuation process that's been, on. I would love to get your thoughts on this. This Yaya Bello issue has actually been on for a very long time now. Well, this witness, the question here is from the EFCC. This was an EFCC witness coming to say that Yaya Bello's name did not appear in the accounts opening. In as much as the court case is still going on, but do we see that is there supposed to be friction going on here, considering the fact that EFCC, started this and said that over the alleged fraud allegation against Yaya Bello, coming back to say that his name did not appear in the account. I would love to get your thoughts on this.
A few things are involved there. First, I disagree when you say that the matter has been on for too long. The will of justice grinds slow.
Okay.
But it is sure.
Okay.
At the end of the day.
Okay.
That is number one. Number two, I want to quickly say that the burden of proof, burden of proof is on the one who alleges. Because if you allege, you should be able to prove. Number three, I also want to say that outside the burden of proof, I also want to say that our jurisprudence is such that when a matter is in courts, the discussion of such matter, especially one that is subsisting, they are going back today.
Yes.
To continue the hearing on the matter.
But this was the incident that happened.
Yes, already there's examination and cross-examination.
Yes.
So I want us to restrict ourselves until it's playing out.
Well, a statement was made yesterday. We're actually going to hit on the statement that was made from the witness.
If you look at the
witness from the EFCC.
If you look at the cross-examination.
Okay.
After the examination, when you look at the cross-examination by the EFCC counsel, that's Pinero, that's the son, you will also discover that that claim, almost caved in. If not for at that point, the defense counsel had to quickly also intervene by saying that already there has been an admission done. So I'm sure that they will interrogate, they will have to, that's the essence of cross-examination, to make sure that the facts that have been adduced, in courts, that they are sustained. You have to interrogate whatever claim is being made, to make sure that they are verified, and that there is no shift away from it. When you look at the counter claim, the cross-examination by Pinero after the defense counsel had finished, having subpoenaed the bank official, you will also see that at some point, there was to be a likely shift, which he protested very strongly. So let's just take it.
Wait, and watch out for this. How it turns out to be after today. Well, okay. That's still fine. Thank you so much on your thoughts on this one. We really still appreciate your thoughts. Thank you so much for joining us today. Well, this is where we wrap it up on this episode of Blowout. Thank you for being here with us. We really, really appreciate your presence. Well, do not forget, we are still open for advert placements, for bookings and commercials. You can still connect with us on all our ATN socials on Facebook and YouTube, on Atlantic Television Network on Instagram and TikTok, on Atlantic TV Network on Twitter, on Atlantic TV Net. You can watch us live on our website at www.atlantic.net.work.tv. Do not forget that peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Open conversation comes up shortly. Do not go away. I am Chidima Wadike.
The board, management and staff of Morrison Media Group presents the 2025 anniversary lecture of Atlantic Television Network and Wish 99.5 FM. Theme: Imperative of Private Media in Sustainable Development.